Good morning everybody, and a very warm welcome to Berringer and District. And today is something a little bit different for you. It's not usually a video that I do. However, this is all going to be about, the main focus of this video is going to be a guide to the Hornby Class 50. So if you have a Hornby Class 50 at all, then this is pretty much going to be an interesting watch for you, because I've come across a number of issues and things like that, and I just thought I would kind of give you maybe a little bit of a guide as to what to look out for and how to handle them and things like that for those of you who are unsure. And also I've got an issue with one of my 50s and I'm going to deal with that today, and I thought you might like to see how I sort of do it, because I was shown this by another member from my local model group who showed me how to do a repair job on one of my other 50s. So I've got a similar problem with another one of my 50s, and I'm going to do that today, and I thought I'd show you how I would do that. But briefly, I'm going to do a bit of housekeeping first of all, because I'd like to thank all my subscribers for subscribing to my channel. We're now up to about 770 odd subscribers, which is fantastic. And the thing is, a lot of you have been very, very sweet, because it's been a while since I posted anything up on YouTube, and a lot of work has happened actually at Berringer. There's a huge amount of work that's gone on behind the scenes, which is why there hasn't been anything up on there for ages and ages, because there's been a lot of construction work to do to sort out some issues that I have had, but that'd be another video. But obviously a lot of you are used to me putting up videos quite frequently, and obviously there's been a bit of a gap. So I'd like to thank Gasman. I can't remember his numbers, there's some numbers at the end of it, and I apologise for not remembering, who's kindly sent me a message to ask if I was okay and whether or not the layout was fine. And the answer is I am okay, and the layout is having some pretty big construction work over at the Berringer end, just to improve that end of it. Also, I wanted to catch up with Nigel Carter, who also sent me a message some time ago, and my apologies for taking my time getting back to you. He was asking me about what track I used, and basically I tend to use just the Hornby track, just code 100. It's not specifically track that's like fine scale or anything like that. It's not, it's just Hornby code 100, the standard Hornby track. And he also asked me about my local model shop, and my local model shop is in Alton, and Alton Model Centre it's called, and he's a fantastic guy. He's really helpful, and the fantastic thing about it is it's literally only about 5 minutes down the road from where I live, and so I can just easily walk it, which is brilliant, because in this day and age to find local model shops is really quite tricky, and now these days you just tend to end up having to go and order everything online, and then you've got to pay for the postage and you've got to wait for it, whereas I'm fortunate enough to have a very good model shop on my doorstep, and the majority of the stuff I can get direct from him, and I don't have to wait for postage, and his prices are very reasonable too. So I think that probably covers everybody that has contacted me. Also Mark Filcher has also contacted me, saying he's just recently subscribed, so thank you for subscribing, and I hope you enjoy the videos. Also Jerry Allen from Kampala Road, who's also in Uganda, who he's also working on his layout, and after some of the dramas that he's had with some of his locos, I'm surprised he still does it, but good on you for your persistence, and I love watching his videos too. So, and I know for a fact he has also got one of my 50s, so he might be interested in what I have to say about the Hornby Class 50. But before we go there, I'm going to take you over to some brief work that has been done over at the other end of the layout, and I'll give you a quick little run through with that. So just a brief update before we get to the crux of the video. This is Fiddle Yard 2, and as you can see, I've now put this board up. So we've now got some additional sidings here, ready to take some more track. So this is one of the other projects that's been going on, as well as over at the Berringer end. I have done a lot of work down at this end. Now, just to give you a clue at what's going on at Berringer, this board here used to be the town scene that was on top of Berringer station. So this used to be the town scene board. So this has been recut and reused. So that just to give you a bit of a clue at what's going to, how drastic things have been at the other end. So basically, the point comes out from Moorwood. It now just sort of raises, goes up over the fridge, and it goes here, and this is where it's going to finish. So this is all been levelled out, so this basically is now ready to take Volmer on top, and then obviously it will sort of run across and along the back like so, and like it was planned. But we will come on to that and get on with that at some point in the future. For now, my 158 has been tested along here. Now, these two are the two longest, so don't worry, I will be putting a fascia up on here, so these trains don't decide that they want to commit suicide, because I know it's a bit precarious along this edge here, but there will be some edging along there before, so just to make you all aware of that. It does take a 3-car unit, because I do have a 3-car 159, and also a 3-car 170, so I'm planning, and basically those two units occupy one full length over at Fiddle Yard 1, so by removing those two and putting them on here and here, it will free up one length of spacing over at Fiddle Yard 1. Also, also some of these points, which is also another clue of what's going on at Berringer's, because obviously these points have been saved from Berringer station. So basically it's to simplify the track work. I think I've mentioned this before, over at Berringer station, as well as to make the running better. This is also just a standby siding here. I've just stabled a loco or a single car DMU. So this is then going to be the full sort of crux of it now, and I think I worked out it was going to be about 9 sidings. I mean, there's 3 over there, 4, 5, 6. It's about 9 or 10 sidings that I'm going to have in total over here at this end. Granted, the majority of them will be more for like shorter units. I was hoping to kind of maybe get the Voyager in here, but it just doesn't fit. So, and as you can see, the Voyager is actually just over there. So that's a 4-car unit, but that just comes out too far. So I've also been trying to work out these gradients and this corner. I've had to rejig this and jig this corner because basically it is quite a tight corner, and one of the issues I have with the 50s is also to do with this corner as well. So we're going to get onto that right now. So we'll get onto the main crux of the video, and this is the Hornby Class 50. Just a brief history lesson in terms of the Class 50 and in terms of my history with the Class 50. It is my favourite class of loco by far. When I was growing up, I used to spend a lot of time at Paddington Station watching the Class 50s. I mean, the majority of the locos were Class 47s and HSTs, but I liked the Class 50s because they were more unique, and the fact is that there's only 50 of them built, and so they were always more of a kind of like difficult to spot, so I always used to like them because of the fact that they were rarer, and I just loved the sound of them, and I used to look at them all the time at Paddington Station. Class 50s were also all named after warships, and basically this one here in front of you is one of, I have 9 I think, yes, 9, and 8 of them are here and 1 of them's on the track. So this is my first one, and this one is Sir Edward Elgar, and this is in the BR Great Western Green livery, and this has been one of my problematic 50s in terms of it has its coupling issues. And this is one of the older 50s, and if I show you what the issue is, it's to do with the coupling. On these older 50s, the coupling has got basically a plug-in system as opposed to an NEM socket system, which the newer ones do, and basically this is recessed slightly further in, and also it also sits slightly lower, so it doesn't sit properly when it couples up to coaches. So I've had problems with this one, but I've just done an experiment with one of my other 50s, which I will show you. So like I said, this is Sir Edward Elgar. Now I have to say that Hornby have done a fantastic job with these. They really do look great. It's only the couplings, but the coupling issues on the 50 is not unique to the 50. It's also a problem with my 60 and also 56s, and I think it's more of a Hornby issue more than anything else. So this is Superb, and I love Superb very much. I love the livery, I just love the look. So this is 50002. Now the experiment that I've done with this one is, if I turn this one around, on this side it's got the standard coupling. I removed the spring on it so it can move freely and do whatever it needs to do. On the other end though, because it was causing problems with derailing, on the other end though, recently, in fact only yesterday or the day before, I changed the cam coupling and I put the NEM socket in it to see if that will improve its running and reliability in terms of derailing. And this has worked out really well actually. It's improved the running. And like I said, I've tried to ease out as much of the curves that I've got that are a bit tighter, which is basically the entrance for the R2. Also, what I've had to do with this is, because it was sitting quite low, again, what I've done is I've put the coupling upside down and it actually sits slightly higher up, and that also seems to have improved it as well. And with this one, it's just the standard one, but it's a bit, it doesn't really work properly. So what I was thinking of is I was going to test run this one for a while, because what I found is that the newer Hornby ones have all got the NEM socket, and they tend to run better than the older ones. The older ones with these push fit ones don't run as well. They're the ones that tend to derail on the 50s. And also I found that because they're the push fit ones, I found that some of them have even fallen off. Like you're pulling a rake and then they just drop off, and then you find out it's like, where's your rake of coaches? Oh, it's because the socket fell out. So that's Superb. Now Superb has also had some new louvres done. This has been a respray that I did because I had a problem with removing the body, which I didn't realise at the time. So I'll show you how to remove the body as well. So for those of you who aren't sure, then I'll show you how to do that. My other 50, well, my next 50 is Agincourt 50013. I do love this one. It's sort of on the cusp of how early I go with my railway modelling, but I love it to pieces anyway. So that's Agincourt in the BR blue, and the early ones didn't have this was added later on. As you can see in the early 50s, the ventilation was like this, and then they plated it over. And also in the early 50s we never had a headlight, and that was fitted in I think it's the late 70s, early 80s, the very late 70s, early 80s that it started. I think it was Neptune was the first one that got the headlight fitted on the front. My next 50 is one of the more rarer ones, and this is Thunderer 50008 in the Engineers sort of. Yeah, there was two versions of the Engineers. One of them was Valiant in the Dutch livery, and then there was this livery here applied to 50008 Thunderer, which is now preserved. Also it was applied to Ramillies, which is 50019, and briefly for about a week to Illustrious, which is 50037. Now this particular 50 was one of the ones that I had problems with the marker lights on the top, and basically my other 50 that I've got on the track has got the same issue now, so I'm going to show you how to get these ones working and what the signs are to look out for if you have issues running with marker lights on the top not running properly or flickering or whatever. The next 50 I have is Lion 50027 in the earlier revised Network Southeast livery, and if I put Superb alongside, you can see that there's two different versions of the blue. So this was the earlier version of the revised livery, and then this was the later one, and they're a bit darker. Personally I prefer this blue. I think this blue is more correct, to be honest. And this particular 50 Lion is actually preserved on the Watercress line, on my local line, and this one runs great actually, and in fact this one has actually still got the sockets that are the older sockets, but like I said, I haven't had too many issues with this one. But like I said, my other one did, but I might change it because I think I prefer the other ones. The NEMs seem to be more reliable. I know I've had one or two issues, not as many as the other one, but I actually thought this one had the NEM, but it doesn't. But actually I think the reason why I have, because this one's actually a hybrid, you can see it's a hybrid one. You can see where it's a push fit on the top, and then inside you can sort of take out the coupling, so that's probably why it runs slightly better. My latest one, which I've had for a little while now, is Ajax 50046. I don't know why that is, like a little bugbear of mine when the buffers aren't straight. And I love Ajax. Ajax is my favourite one out of all my 50s, probably because she runs sweet, and I love this livery. I think this is probably my favourite livery on the 50. I think it's the one that suits it the best. So yeah, so that's Ajax 50046. My next 50 is this limited edition Rail Express 50. This is class 5149 Defiance in the Rail Freight Sectors livery. Now the thing is with the Rail Freight Sectors livery, it was an experiment which they used, and only on this particular 50, it's the only one that was repainted in this livery. A few, I think one of them, I think Arc Royal was briefly repainted in the Load Hall livery or something like that later on, but it never actually carried it in service or anything like that, I don't think. But the experiments with this particular livery, and they changed the bogies to see how it works, and it wasn't a total success, so that's why this was like the only one that was ever repainted in this livery. I think Defiance still lives on, but I'm happy to. I paid a bit of a premium for this one, but I really wanted this one because I really liked it. And this one runs really sweet as well. So that's Defiance, and this one is Dauntless in the original Network Southeast livery. And this one runs sweet as a nut. When I bought it, it was a bit rough because I don't think it had been used very much, and it was running really quite slow, but after I put it on the rolling road for some time, it loosened it up, and now it runs really, really lovely, and it's really, really reliable as well. So that's basically the fleet. There's one more on the track, which is what I'm going to show you, and then we'll get on to looking at this 15 more details and things to look out for in terms of the Class 50.